Okay, all right. First of all, the great crowd. The weather was outstanding out there. A lot of fun to be on the field with our crowd. Loved our energy of our team. The guys were playing hard, flying around. Thought our defense was outstanding. I think one thing that really stands out is the depth, and I think we've got more depth, which is great with that. Daniel Carlson, I mean, it was windy as all get out down there, and he's just drilling it. One of the best kickers in college football, and that'll be a big weapon for us next year. Offensively, we decided to rotate all three quarterbacks with the ones and the twos equally. Sometimes that's a challenge as far as different groups and all that, but we want to see them play, and we want to see what they could do and how they handled different situations. We were pretty vanilla offensively. That was by design, but overall, I think it really ended up in spring. Even though we got one more practice on Tuesday, it really ended spring on a high note. I don't think there was any major injuries, which is always a concern, and overall, it's been a very good spring.
Questions?
Does combined 1 of 22 on third down, even with a vanilla offense, first team offense, 1 of 10 on third down. How much of a concern is that?
Yeah, like I said, the challenge is when you rotate three quarterbacks with different groups and you got different receivers and all that. That is a challenge. You got to give our defense some credit on that. But as far as concerned, no, I'm not concerned at all. I thought the defense did an outstanding job and they made them earn it.
Yes, what situation with Carlton Davis?
He had a little bit of a finger issue, and it was on Thursday, and we just wanted to be safe. He's had an outstanding spring, but it's nothing major, and he'll be fine.
Would you talk about Chandler Cox's expanded role?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Chandler Cox and Cameron Petway have both played, half tailback, half H-back. And you can see both of them have a chance to help us. They run north-south. Both of them are instinctive. They both played tailback, in high school and used to carrying the ball. And I just think that'll give our offense more versatility next year. We let those two guys carry it, with Javon and then Rock. Thomas is a guy that's kind of playing a little bit of receiver, a little slot, which you saw in that one touchdown. Did a great job with that, and he's also playing some running back. So, we're just really trying to develop some depth at that position, and those two big guys, have a chance to help us in certain situations.
Just look at this quarterbacks. Did you have any feel for it after watching
Say that again.
the quarterbacks in general?
Yeah, I thought there was a couple close plays. The one at the very end was close. Made a couple plays down the field. But I thought overall, all three executed well at times.
Is there a disappointment, Gus, that not one of them separated themselves?
If you think back at A-Day, I mean, you think back at Cam Newton, because A-Day and you're rotating guys and all that, and you think about stats. So, no, we really don't go too much into that. We have a really good idea in spring, the whole body of spring evaluations. And like we've said before, we went live one day, which was great. John Franklin and a couple of young guys actually went live twice. And so it's good for us in those settings to evaluate. But, A-Day is a chance to get out there, show what they can do, but have fun with it. But, no, to answer your question, I'm not concerned about nobody separating themselves on a day like this. And it was extremely windy, too.
You're going to let the quarterbacks compete over the summer?
Say that again.
You're going to let the quarterbacks compete over the summer?
Yeah. What we'll do in all areas, offensively and defensively and special teams, we'll get together as a coaching staff and we'll get plans together, as far as how we'll move forward in the summer and getting ready for fall.
So you're certain Jeremy will be with you in the fall?
Yeah, he's on our team. He's competing for the starting quarterback job.
Will you name the starting quarterback before fall?
I'm not ready to say that yet. Like I said, we'll end our last practice on Tuesday. Originally, it was going to be on Monday. We did push it back to Tuesday because we could properly evaluate this film. But all positions, we'll talk as a staff and we'll decide.
How do you like the pace of the offense?
At times I liked it. At times I liked it. Obviously, the early in the game, the defense was playing out, saying there was a lot of 3 and outs. But once they got in the flow and they started playing fast, and it was a good tempo at times.
Do you have an idea in your mind who's the head quarterback?
Not at this moment. I mean, like I said, we'll get done. I'll get with Rhett and the offensive staff, and we'll decide. But I will say this: we do have depth at that position, and that is a good thing.
Ball security was a point of emphasis as well. 2 red zone fumbles, 1 loss. lost
Yeah.
another time in the red zone. You stall yourself for a lot of field goals.
Yeah, I think that's really the big negative for me, okay, was when, our quarterbacks that have had the reps with the running backs and all that, we put the ball on the ground, I believe twice it was, on the zone read. That was probably the biggest negative from an offensive standpoint all day.
Coach, what do you think of Marlon Davidson? I know he's early on.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, he's had a very good spring. I mean, he's a big athletic guy.
Coach, you put more of an emphasis on spring, especially at the quarterback position, than just about any coach. What did John Franklin III get out of these 14 practices thus far?
Well, I mean, he's learned the offense, and it's good for him. We're throwing a lot at him, and he's done a solid job.
How did he kind of respond just being out there on the field for the first time in front of fans?
I mean, that's something for all the new guys, not just him, but the new guys in our program. Some guys react differently when they get in front of a crowd, and but overall, like I said, I mean, I'm looking at the whole big picture here. The defense and offense, making sure everybody plays and all that. But overall, there wasn't anything that kind of stuck in my mind that concerned me, about him being out there. Put it that way.
Yes, there was 2 big pass plays with Marcus Day. It was a 50-yarder and a 40-yarder.
Yeah.
Is that something that you can look at him at and say, hey,
Yeah, I'm real happy for Marcus. I mean, he's been very consistent in our program. He's been a guy that we can count on. He does a lot of dirty work that helps us be successful. And for him to be a senior now and to make some big plays in A-Day, I thought that was really good. And, he's a guy that our quarterbacks have a lot of confidence in, and our coaches have a lot of confidence in.
Coach, do you know the status of Malik Miller?
I think he tweaked his ankle. He did battle an ankle injury last week, and I think he tweaked his other. But he's had a solid spring, and it's been really good for him. Just a guy that should still be in high school. He's out here getting 15 days of spring practice, and it's been very good for him.
Yeah, guess what was your sense of how the young guys responded to playing out there in front of a crowd? You always want to hear about how they.
Yeah, I mean, just out there, the guys were having fun. They were flying around, and that's what you look for. And one thing I can say all spring is our guys have had great energy in every practice. I think they want to be coached, and they enjoy playing together. And that's really the big thing that's really stood out to me, from a big picture standpoint.
How do you feel today compared to last year's A-Day when you walked off the field?
I mean, I feel like our defense has a chance to be good. We have more depth, like I said before, but I don't feel bad, put it that way. I mean, A-Day is one of those deals from a head coach's standpoint. You want to let your players get out there and play and give everybody a chance to play, have fun, and, you just make, you pray that nobody gets injured seriously. Nobody did. And so I think it's a good day, and really I think it's comparable.
Defensive backs, you had 2 dropped interceptions and another one on that touchdown where they could have gone up and maybe gotten it. Do you take that as a positive that they were in position, or are there other things that you see there where maybe there needs to be some work?
Yeah, I mean, it looked to me like one time the ball got knocked out of one of their hands, but he was in great position. The other one I think was a great adjustment by the receiver. But our defensive backs, we got some youth out back there, but they've really done a good job getting turnovers this year, and most of those young guys have pretty good ball skills. So, I think that's a good thing moving forward.
Gus, what's your plan for that Monday or Tuesday, that last practice?
Mm-hmm.
Is that a lighter day, or do you?
I'm gonna get with the coordinators. We'll see where we're at. As far as that goes. Ideally, it's a teaching day. It's the last day that you're able to coach your guys until fall. So you want to make sure they have that foundation. And really, you're thinking depth. Usually your ones have a really good idea, but a lot of times those 2s or 3s have a chance to help you with depth-wise. You want to focus on those guys a little more on that last practice. But we'll talk as with the coordinators, and we'll see what we need to do.
Earlier today, Hugh Freeze at Ole Miss said that he wishes that at the end of the spring that you could scrimmage against like an in-state team of some sort, a smaller program, just to mix it up a little bit. He said he brought up in spring meetings last year, and he'll do it again this year. What are your thoughts on that, on potentially playing a different team?
Yeah, I really don't have thoughts. I mean, I kind of like the way we do it. I think it's been a tradition around here, and I think our fans enjoy it.
Did you have a reaction to the elimination of satellite camp?
Yeah, I mean, the SEC, I'm in line with that. I think it's a good call.
Coach, when teams go through a lot of positional changes. You know, you really look for some leaders on both sides of the ball to kind of keep the team together. Who are those leaders in your like mind of who they could be?
Yeah, you know, I think it's really our older guys. You know, the Marcus Davises on offense, the Carl Lawsons, Montravius Adams. It's those guys, and they've been around a long time. And those guys have been around when we won an SEC championship. They know what it feels like, what it looks like, what it takes. And, you know, those guys have really stepped up as leaders. And, you know, the young guys have really responded.